Hey, that's better than...
The car you drive beyond the year 2000 will have safety features you've never dreamed were possible.
My God.
By wearing a special helmet and simply looking at the target, the pilot merely presses the fire button and a rocket is fired.
Your next seafood cocktail may never have seen the sea.
It was the most expensive test accident in the history of commercial aviation.
The fastest naval ship in the world, improvements in breast prosthesis, and the latest experimental aircraft. It's all Beyond 2000, presented by AMP, 8:30 Thursday on 7.
Those people you visit, who always have cool, quiet houses in summer, they have a secret. They own a southern heating mini-ducted. They can thermostatically cool their living areas by day and their bedrooms by night through a whisper-quiet ducted system. In fact, it's so quiet that their neighbours will probably never even know they've got one, unless they come inside. But the mini-ducted is less expensive than you think. Call now for a quote and get in on the secret.
How old are my whites?
How old is my skirt?
How old is my camisole?
How old is my shirt?
A good 3 years. 15 months, 2 years, 9 months. But you wouldn't know it. In every wash, as well as detergent, I add White King 2. It brightens colours and whitens whites. No family of mine's going to look second-hand.
Thank you, White King 2.
This week at Spotlight, we've put the accent on a new range of bed linen designed for the whole family. Delicate florals are available in sheet sets, bedspreads, comforters, and with ruffled quilt covers from only $39.95. Newport and Macquarie, a crisp contemporary look, just perfect for the men in your life. And we haven't forgotten the kids. Coordinate with plain pillowcases, balances, and sheets from $14.50. You'll soon see that accent and Spotlight can make your decorating dreams come true.
She could take fibre trim. He could take fibre trim. She probably wouldn't. She probably would. I don't think she takes fibre trim, but I think they do. He probably wouldn't take fibre trim, but she probably would. Now, I think they'd take fibre trim. So what is fibre trim? This is fibre trim. Natural fibre tablets from grain and citrus. When taken with a calorie-controlled diet and exercise, will help you slim and stay slim. That's fibre trim.
Ben Cropp and his team of underwater experts are aboard his research vessel, the Beaver, on the first leg of a 2-year voyage of exploration and research around Australia. Ben is headed for a mysterious area he calls the Coral Labyrinth. It's a remote and virtually uncharted region 120 miles off the coast of central Queensland. They will study the venomous sea snakes which inhabit this vast coral area, known as the Swain Reefs. The entire area is a maze, a labyrinth of coral which often lies just beneath the surface. Nestling within the Swain Reefs are some 24 sand cays formed over thousands of years by the action of the ocean pounding and breaking up the coral. These have become a haven for seabirds. It's a desolate place, but it's safe. And another attraction is that there's always plenty of food around. The scenery changes dramatically below the surface. Enormous walls of coral with luxuriantly green passageways. Divers can follow towering pinnacles of coral to within a metre of the surface, or drop down 30 fathoms to the sea bottom. Each reef guards the next one from damage, so the coral flourishes. And where the coral garden flourishes, so do the fish. Some look strangely forlorn, like this wobbegong shark. Some are beautiful and make myriad patterns in the sunlight. Others are sleek, sinister and dangerous, like this 6-foot white-tipped reef shark. Now the beaver is in the Swain Reefs, and she's headed for Sanctuary Reef. As its name suggests, it's a safe haven in a coral labyrinth. With the whole area virtually uncharted, skipper Ben Cropp and Eva must rely on totally true and accurate navigation. But now they're within the reefs, it's a different kind of navigating. Ben must ease the beaver through the small gaps in the coral. He slowly feels his way along the reefs, relying on diver Lynn Patterson to help him pick a safe passage through the maze of coral outcrops. They know that one false move, one wrong decision, and the beaver could tear its hull open on the jagged coral bommies that reach up to almost touch beaver's hull. At last, they're safely through. Now they have to find a secure anchorage. One of the main objectives of this expedition is the scientific study of the venomous sea snake.
Well, I've got a couple kinds of tags here. Let's pretend this is a sea snake's tail. Put it on, take a pliers.
What's your finger?
Professor Hal Heatwell is the world's foremost expert on sea snakes. He's explaining to Dr. Peter Sanger how they will attempt to tag, then measure and weigh the snakes. Another step in man's study of the alien world around
I
him.
hope we get some today. It's a good area. There should be some here anyway. This is a typical.
One of Australia's top underwater men, Wally Gibbons, joins the team for this dive. He knows the risks in diving in unknown waters, and for protection, he takes along a .303 explosive head.
Now I'll take one of those.
Professor Heatwell and Peter Sanger have snake catchers similar to those that are used for land snakes. Wally's first interest is Lynn's order for dinner. These are painted sweetlips. Wally makes it all look so simple. As slight as the dying fish's vibrations are, this shark has somehow picked up the signals. It's a whaler, fairly common, but it's a shark to be treated with respect. Ben wants to film the action of the shark and the fish, but Wally can sense a dangerous situation. He indicates that he should shoot it. Ben waves him away. Suddenly, the shark snaps at Wally's fish. As he tears at it, Ben and Wally become worried. All this excitement will surely attract more sharks. Here they are, more whalers. It's a time for extreme caution. Sharks are most dangerous when they're feeding. They can become frenzied and then anything can happen. Ben and Wally draw on their experience. They stay cool. And all is well. And the experts can once again concentrate on the scientific study of sea snakes. An olive brown sea snake. Hal is after it. He wants to catch it and tag it. process of tagging sea snakes is virtually untried, and any book of instruction would probably read, "First catch your sea snake." This particular species has a venom about 10 times as potent as the cobra. Above all, the scientists don't want to harm the snake, so to begin with, they don't hold it tightly enough. That also causes problems.
Yeah, see all the algae growing on it.
I'll break that off for you.
Yeah.
You'll get plenty of algae.
Oh,
Maybe so.
Yep. Too close for comfort. Yeah, I don't know if you can hold him by the tail. Here. Didn't take long to do this one.
Trial and error with snakes is dangerous. The team will have to plan their next moves very carefully.
Oh, I don't think I could eat another thing.
More coffee?
Well, I wonder how we're going to be able to handle these things, tag them underwater.
I think the big problem there, Hal, underwater is going to be trying to hold the snake in a reasonably safety position while you get that thing on this tail.
We'll have to arrange it so that one of us is holding the head.
Yeah, I reckon one person on the business end, the other one holding the tail and clipping in the tag. I think that's the best.
But then as soon as you release the head, then you've got the trouble that snake can easily turn around and bite the finger just as you release.
Well, it's like having a tiger by the tail, right?
Really?
It might be better to have somebody come in with the snake tongues and grab it to hold it still so we can let go and then see what happens next. I don't know. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, take the snake off the person and push it away, then release it.
Yeah, it might be the best procedure.
Yeah.
They're pretty supple. They can turn around and bite the tail, can they?
Oh, they could,
Oh,
yeah.
So those snakes can really turn that mouth around and get on the
they're a
finger.
bit savage at that time, too.
Oh, he'd
When
be
you
upset.
catch them, and even after you catch them and clip them with the tail, they're liable to be a bit more excitable than normal. And also, if you just fling it away, you can actually get the fine grazing. This has happened in land snakes on a number of occasions. I suppose it happened in these things as well, probably.
Well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see what happens.
What about at night, Hal? Do you think you'll attempt to tag snakes then?
Oh, I think we ought to give it a go. They're active at night, but I have a suspicion that with the light blinding them, everything, that you may be able to get up closer and be able to catch them easier and everything in the daytime.
I'm looking forward to the action as to what the snake will really do.
No, it'll be a flurry of sport there, I think, for a while.
We'll soon see what happens at night. Next on the Coral Labyrinth.
Roll out the red carpet. The King is back on 7 with another hysterical hour of the world's funniest men and women and the world's best comedy. New Zealand Insurance presents Graham Kennedy's World of Comedy, Tuesday 8:30, followed by another audience with Dave Edna.
From Winthrop, makers of Australia's leading pain reliever, comes Winsprin, the first 325 milligram strength aspirin capsule. Aspirin, to effectively help relieve pain and fever in convenient, easy-to-swallow capsules. Like all pain relievers, Winsprin should be taken only as directed. and your doctor consulted if pain persists. Winsprin, aspirin in a capsule from Winthrop.
Spotlight clears huge stocks of curtaining at crazy prices. Group 1, cotton prints, plain satins and shantungs, continuous marker sets, out they go, $1.99. Group 2, acrylic linings, continuous laces, polyester scrims and shears, a crazy $2.99. Group 3, mix and match prints, coordinating plains, hand-loomed Indian cottons, polyester laces, only $3.99. Group 4, acrylic line prints and continuous curtaining, and moire taffeta, a fabulous $4.99 a metre. Group 5, embroidered voiles, Draylon velvet, upholstery, jacquard velvet, a super $7.99 a metre. Only at Spotlight now.
Now, Resi Current Account gives you the lot. You earn 11 to 13% per annum at call on your money. You get a free checkbook that makes its own copies. And Visa, the most accepted card in the world, free in this handy wallet.
Meet the new soft companion that everyone is taking to their hearts, Chubbles. When his little nose lights up, so does your life. And when he chickles away woes and worries. Chubbles. A beautiful gift for everyone, just like a teddy bear, except that Chubbles lights up and laughs. Chubbles, when he's chiggling and snuggling, the world's a great big grin. Exclusive pre-release offer. Details in this week's TV Week and New Idea.
Ben is anxious to move on to another location where Professor Heatwell can test his theory and tag sea snakes at night. But there's no early start today. The anchor has dragged and wedged itself under some coral. At last the anchor comes up, coral reef and all. The beaver edges its way carefully out of Sanctuary Lagoon. She's heading for Gannet Cay. A young gannet, perhaps wanting a lift to Gannet Cay, stows away. I don't know who looks more surprised, the gannet or Streaker. Gannet Cay can just be seen in the distance. And our stowaway, not wanting to risk a showdown with Streaker, decides he can make it on his own. That building on the quay is an automatic weather station. It's used to warn mainland Australia of cyclonic weather conditions before they reach the Queensland coast. Lynn Patterson is diving with hooker gear. That's a direct airline from the boat to the diver, and it frees Lynn from the need to carry heavy and cumbersome air tanks. A baby epaulet shark spooks away as Lynn crosses the green floor. Everywhere there are fish. She swims between great skyscrapers of coral. And again the fish. The exotic butterfly cod, beautiful, but with deadly venomous spines. Here, the long-nosed butterfly fish. Fish in their peaceful millions. Hermit crab, annoyed at being disturbed, walks away carrying a Triton shell, his own portable home. Into this peaceful scene slides the villain. In this case, almost inevitably, a white-tipped reef shark. And immediately a strange game develops between Lynn and the shark. This particular fish is either very friendly or very hungry. Once again, Streaker takes an interest in our guest. Ben heads into Gannet Cay with Lynn and Leanne Sanderson. They're curious about the bird life inhabiting this tiny speck in the ocean. There's a large colony of brown booby gannets on Gannet Cay, and at this time of year, they're nesting. Lynn decides to talk back to the youngster in its own tongue. Well, whatever she said, it worked. The gannets build very primitive nests, which is understandable. There's just no nest-building material available. This tiny speck in the remote Swain Reefs is the entire world for these birds. Here they're born, they live, they die, on a barren beach devoid of protection from sun, winds, or rain. Gannet Cay isn't a safe place to anchor overnight. In these uncharted waters, Ben must find a safe anchorage well before nightfall.
I'd left it far too late to head for the anchorage in Escape Reef. I hadn't been there before, but I'd heard it had a very tricky entrance. And now I was faced with the most dangerous conditions one can ever experience in the Swain Reefs. It was calm. The sea was so unbelievably calm that there wasn't even a break on the reef, not even a ripple, just a few rocks protruding here and there to tell you that there was a reef. And the worst was the low sun, which put a glow on the water, which really looked like a reef. But it was a false reef, and I had no idea whether the reef was in front or beside or right underneath the boat.
Oh no! Well, I've hit the reef. I'm going down below to check.
Is everything all right?
No water there, no hole.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, listen, can you put this back?
Yes.
Whoa, okay. We're off.
It was a relief to know that the boat wasn't leaking, but now I had the problem to find an anchorage in the dark. And all I could do was edge along the coral reef and find a sandy patch deep enough and drop anchor and hope for the best.
Okay, well, let it go. This'll have to do.
Ben?
Yeah?
Cup of coffee?
Oh, good.
I think you deserve that one.
I feel like this. I won't leave it as late as this again. It's just not worth it out here.
I'd say not. I think we were very lucky.
Beaver is secure, at least for tonight, anchored off Escape Reef. And the crew can resume their scientific study of the sea snakes at night. Previous study of sea snakes showed that many of them slept or rested during daylight hours. The scene changes dramatically at night. In one way, the blackness underwater aids the divers. Snakes have myopic vision, that is, they're very short-sighted. And when the spotlight is turned on, they can't see the divers as large objects. Consequently, they seem more relaxed. Now to catch one. It's the chance Hal and Peter have been waiting for. If their plan for nighttime tagging works, so much time will be saved. So many snakes could be tagged. In all the time spent studying snakes underwater, Ben had never managed to film snakes actually feeding. And then he finds himself at the right place at the right time.
This is a unique scene that I'm filming. I've never before seen a sea snake feeding naturally. And the way it distended those jaws and engulfed the fish and slowly, very slowly, moved that fish down and down until it disappeared into its stomach. It made me realize that the sea snake has a lot more biting capabilities than what we've given it credit for. Here we're witnessing a highly specialized predator, and I'm glad I'm not his prey.
Coming up next, two giant whales become trapped in the coral labyrinth.
Sure isn't human.
Brendan sells Jones Farm and Judy's still chasing promotion.
Your deficiency is becoming quite awe-inspiring.
Do you have anything?
A drug problem at Burrigan High.
Couple of downers. I can't get anything else till next Thursday.
It's just business, mate. Supply and demand.
A vital social issue that touches even little Wandon Valley. And
You got yourself a regular bloke?
Well, you know, no one special.
You're okay, Joe.
A Country Practice, Australia's favourite drama, Tuesday 7:30 on 7.
Dorf, introduce a tap that helps you turn off the kettle. Pick up the phone. Quieten the kids. Answer the door. Boil an egg. Feed the pets. And even wash the dishes. The Dorf Flick Mixer. Now your left hand needn't know what your right hand's doing.
Those people you visit, who always have cool, quiet houses in summer, they have a secret. They own a southern heating mini-ducted. They can thermostatically cool their living areas by day and their bedrooms by night through a whisper-quiet ducted system. In fact, it's so quiet that their neighbours will probably never even know they've got one, unless they come inside. But the mini-ducted is less expensive than you think. Call now for a quote and get in on the secret.
Ever wondered whether you might need a daily multivitamin? Pleuravit capsules are for anyone whose diet is lacking in vitamins. And let's face it, that might happen if you skip meals because you're flat out at work, if you drink, or even if you smoke. Mind you, we're not promising miracles, but a daily Pleuravit capsule can help by supplying a combination of 20 essential vitamins and minerals. Pleuravit regular and high potency. Help your body keep up with your lifestyle.
Well, he checks the hull to see if yesterday's accident caused any damage. There's a deep gash in the false keel, but it's not serious enough to force Ben to change his plans. Beaver's right in the centre of a coral maze. Some reefs are visible as they break the surface. Others lurk dangerously just below the surface, where the only sign that they exist is a change in the colour of the water. Ben can count himself lucky to have escaped serious damage. The maps don't help much. The area has never been properly charted. Even the Admiralty map is incorrect. It shows blank areas where Ben found that reefs existed. A flurry of activity indicates a flock of terns feeding on a shoal of pilchards. And where there are pilchards, game fish like tuna will follow. Lynn's got one. Now to land it. That's going to be Streaker's food for the next few days.
Now, come on, mate. Let's get you tagged and measured and all that sort of thing and see what kind of algae you've got. You think those would be special algae that grow only on sea snakes? Or
I don't think so.
Professor Hal Heatwell is a world expert on sea
That enough?
snakes.
Yep, that'll do. 6803.
6803, okay.
Righto.
That looks on good and solid. Righto. 6803. Now, give me the capillaries and we'll get the venom sample. Find his fang there. Ah, good on you, mate. There's enough there to kill a couple of people.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Well, he's 1.2 kilograms. 1 meter even up. Well, that's all for you, old boy. I'll let you go back home now. Hope to see you next time, eh? And he dived right away, straight down.
Nice cool bob.
Eva, come over here. A couple of whales. Look, over there, about 300 yards. Yeah, about 11 o'clock.
Yes. Hey, I wonder what they are.
They look like humpbacks. Yeah, they're about 40 feet long.
They're big enough.
Yeah, but I don't know how they're going to get out of here. It's such a labyrinth.
Right, hey, maybe we can chase them out with the boat.
Yeah, okay, it's worth a try.
Look out, Ben, you're getting too close.
At last, the whales slip out into the open sea. And Beaver continues on, headed due north, deeper and deeper into the coral labyrinth of the Swain Reefs. The work of the diving team would be much easier in absolutely clear water. And Ben is drawing on his experience and his knowledge of the area, and he's heading towards Mystery Reef, where he hopes the waters will be crystal clear. Past Frigate Cay, barren and desolate. Mystery Reef. And another opportunity for Professor Hal Heatwell to continue with his study of the sea snakes. His program of tagging calls for intensive effort by the diving teams, and some 80 snakes will have to be caught, tagged, weighed and measured before the Beaver leaves the Swain Reefs. pair of Moorish idols play tag around a coral reef. How could anyone be in anything but the best of moods in such idyllic surroundings? And so it proved to be, for here the team met the friendliest of friendly sea snakes. It's an olive brown snake with the imposing scientific name of Apisaurus laevus. Apisaurus was a really friendly character, and Hal was able to hold it without apparent risk. Rather than risk antagonizing the snake by tagging, Hal decides he'd rather continue with the game of mutual admiration. As long as the divers don't make any sudden movements, the snake continues to investigate with perhaps more than usual curiosity. Apparently, it's searching for a mate. And it fell in love with Hal. Not all sea snakes are so friendly. Hal is bitten by a deadly snake next on the coral labyrinth.
They are good. They're better than good. What's more, I think they'll sell. Monday at 6. How deep she got herself involved anyway?
She went out for dinner with him last night. Didn't get in till all hours.
Oh, there you go. We've got to nip this thing in the bud, mate.
How long will you be gone for?
A couple of very long, very lonely days.
I think Terry's still in love with Shane.
Beth? Jeez. You are wrong. Neighbours, 6 o'clock weeknights.
My turn, Jeff.
That's a good-looking checkbook, Muriel.
Isn't it? They're the new checks from Resi. Look, they even make their own coffee. Aren't they clever? Open a Resi current account. Earn 11 to 13% per annum at your Resi agent or branch.
How old are my whites?
How old is my skirt?
How old is my camisole?
How old is my shirt? A good 3 years. 15 months, 2 years, 9 months, but you wouldn't know it. In every wash, as well as detergent, I add White King 2. It brightens colours and whitens whites. No family of mine's going to look second-hand.
Thank you, White King 2.
The average Australian consumes 20 times more of the sodium in salt than the body needs. And in excess, that's dangerous. But now you can look after your family's health with no salt. The sodium-free salt substitute from Synovus. Just use it instead of salt. And because it's concentrated, you only need half as much. No salt, the salt substitute from Synovus. The company that cares about your family's health.
If you've got a dirty driveway and you want to get it clean, rip a stripper.
What a ripper!
If the bobby's in a mess, it's gonna sparkle and gleam. Rip a stripper.
What a ripper!
When you want to remove paint, varnish, grease, or any built-up grime off just about anything, you need Ripper Stripper in the easy-to-use aerosol can.
Anything that needs it clean to bring it back to new again. Rip a stripper. What a ripper!
Here's a sight that very few people have been privileged to see. The courtship of two sea snakes. In love and devotion, they twist and writhe together with graceful beauty. And these two lovers will continue like this until the act of copulation. is obviously no respecter of true love. He interrupts their courtship to tag them. It's an opportunity for Hal to check the body temperatures of courting snakes. As most courting animals are extremely dangerous, Professor Heatwell will have to approach his task with extreme caution. So far, all is going well. But once the thermometer is removed from the snake's rectum, it goes berserk. Fair enough. Why shouldn't it? The snake appears to have lost all sense of direction. Much to Hal's relief, it quietens down. During all this excitement, the snake's partner has been swimming nearby. Hal, having lost one snake, decides to tag the other. This snake is agitated by all the activity. It's most aggressive. It escapes Hal's tongs and immediately attacks him. Hal's concern for the moment is to avoid injuring the snake, at the same time keeping away from those deadly fangs. Hal's decision not to grasp the snake tightly gives the snake the edge. It escapes and vents its anger on Peter this time.
Savage little. Oh, he's a savage one, this one.
Oh, he gave us...
What happened?
Oh, he gave us a rough time. There were two of them in the same staghorn coral. We should have known by that.
Oh, he chased me for about 100 yards. Did he get you?
Oh, I don't know. Something scratched my finger while he was flurrying around down there, but I don't know whether it's him or not.
I have
Bit of a mark.
He was round your back too at one stage.
Yeah, he was sort of all over me, but I don't know if he got me. I have a urine test in about 2 hours to see.
Can you squeeze any blood out of it?
No, I can't get any blood out of it. Maybe just, bang it against the snake stick or something.
Yeah.
I felt something, but I wasn't sure it was a snake. I don't think it is.
I think you still should have the urine test.
No, we'll check. See what happens.
We'll know by tomorrow morning.
How's the Intermission? What's the date on it?
Oh, it should be okay if we need it.
The beaver carries antivenin, and if the test is positive, then they can carry out first aid measures. Sea snake's venom is unique in that it has a direct effect on the human muscles, causing myoglobulin in the kidneys to be released into the urine. So a positive test would show the specimen stained red. As this effect takes some time to become obvious, Hal has to wait to be sure. Sea snakes can either withhold or inject their venom at will. Without antivenin and correct treatment, the venom acts on the muscles and the victim simply goes to sleep and dies. It's an uncomfortable wait.
Oh, well, looks okay. No red in it.
Yeah.
So I definitely wasn't bitten, I reckon.
I reckon you need a new set of kidneys, eh?
Well, as long as it's not red, that's all that matters. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, what a waste.
I'm really relieved.
Oh, this is well.
With Hal given the all clear, Ben heads back to Sanctuary Reef. If venom had been injected, it would have meant a hurried dash to the mainland for the correct treatment. The scientists want to recheck the area around Sanctuary Reef for snakes tagged 3 weeks earlier. Ideally, they'd like to check in a year's time. But it will be interesting to see if any tagged snakes are still in the immediate area. The crew keep a sharp lookout for coral bummies as the beaver is eased through the narrow entrance to Sanctuary Lagoon.
Hal, there's a snake down here with a tag on it, going down towards the back.
Okay, yeah, I see it. I'll get it. Hang on. What's his number? Oh, what's it read?
6231.
Oh, that's one of the early ones. Well, that's good to get a recapture anyway. He didn't go very far. Probably more than a couple 100 yards in that whole time.
It was a rude awakening. You were nicely sunbaking.
Good to have you back. They tend to feed at night sometimes. I've seen them foraging, so might be worth
try feeding them.
Yeah, take a fish down and see if we can get, because very few observations have ever been made of them eating. They don't eat well in captivity. So it'd be good to see what kinds of fish they swallow, and whether they have to go to the surface to swallow, or they swallow them on the bottom, or
that'd
just
good.
what.
That'd be good.
Well, a whole fish or part of a fish?
Yeah, I'll give them a whole fish and see what they do with it. They can swallow pretty big things from what we've taken out of the stomachs. It's amazing what they can get around.
The sea snake has a choice of hand or fish next on the coral labyrinth.
The Fairfield team will be the third to identify and isolate the AIDS virus.
That if they're living together, he can go ahead and rape her and the law won't intervene or say that it's criminal.
You're being loyal to them still. Weren't they disloyal to you?
Every nurse in Victoria's public hospital system could walk out tomorrow.
This play can be enjoyed by children of all ages, even if they're deaf.
So everybody's had a go at show day.
Entertaining, enlightening, engaging. Don't miss a day of Day by Day, 7 o'clock weeknights.
She could take fibre trim. He could take fibre trim. She probably wouldn't. She probably would. I don't think she takes fibre trim, but I think they do. He probably wouldn't take fibre trim, but she probably would. Now, I think they'd take fibre trim. So what is fibre trim? This is fibre trim. Natural fibre tablets from grain and citrus. When taken with a calorie-controlled diet and exercise, will help you slim and stay slim. That's fibre trim.
This man is a dentist, so we can't show you his face on television. Morning, Rob. But the fact that he's brushing his teeth may prompt you to ask, what sort of toothbrush do dentists use? Okay, Rob, show us. Oral-B. Preferred and used by 3 times as many dentists as any other brand of toothbrush. Oral-B. The toothbrush more dentists use.
Hey, it's the Mobile Whizzer. So give your child a whizzer and let them whiz around for years. The Mobile Whizzer, available from leading retailers.
More filming, don't we?
Let's hope we can find something we can feed it to.
Right. I hope they eat it once we get it.
Well, we ready?
Bon voyage!
Now for the $64,000 question. Can they coax the snakes to bite the fish and not the hand? A squid darts away, leaving an inky trail. This is a strange world. But let Ben tell you about it.
It's eerie down here at night. The lamp only just lights up what you can see ahead. You really have to forget about all those snakes crawling around behind you. And the plankton is a nuisance too. It blots out our vision. Is hungry. And this is dangerous work. The snake has a very poor eyesight, and it would be very easy for its optic vision to mistake.
While Hal has been successful once, it's pretty obvious that it's a difficult and dangerous operation. Just let's go through the sequence once again with Wally. He has to get the snake to slow down on the sea bottom, then to sniff and examine the fish. All this time, Wally's hand is very close to the snake's fangs, and his hand is covered with fish slime, which may confuse the snake as to which is fish and which is finger. Then, when the snake is satisfied that he wants the fish, he bites. Once again, the snake twists and turns in an effort to get the fish through its jaws. It's very difficult in water for a snake to get a grip with its body against the coral so that he can flex his muscles and force his jaws over the fish. Once he gets that purchase on the coral, then he can swallow the fish. It disappears quite rapidly until only the tail is visible. Home to venomous sea snakes, This labyrinth of uncharted coral reefs draws explorers like Ben Cropp and intrepid scientists like Hal Heatwole in their search for knowledge. Each expedition, each scientific discovery adds to the store of human knowledge and helps unravel the secrets of the coral labyrinth.